here's the story. We've been talking about this concrete asphalt plant that's being proposed. The mayor's office, City Hall is all in on this. They want it to happen, and the mayor has been very specific. This is about tax dollars. It's about revenue. It's about jobs. It's about moving Utica forward, period. End of discussion. On the other hand, there are a lot of people that are concerned that this area is, they're trying to clean this area up. And one of the most valuable things that we have, one of the most valuable resources any upstate community has, especially with us and many of our communities that are along the Mohawk River and the Barge Canal. So that is prime land, prime opportunity to develop and to reap the benefits. So is it a good idea to put this asphalt plant, which includes smell, dust, and possibly pollutants, into the air and into the water? Is it the right decision? Samantha Colosimo Testa is the council person over there. And good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
So did I lay it out? Did I try to lay out both sides here? That's really what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think?
Well, at first, obviously, when you hear 30 jobs, everyone's, for it. You
Sure.
can't blame them for that. But then you actually look into the details of whether or not this is necessary for that area. I don't know if anybody knows the history on the land, but the DEC spent millions of dollars to clean that land up. So the DEC will have regulations on that.
Well, and it is still, the property is still polluted, right?
Yes. Well, the DEC spent money to clean it up, but
they did.
Remembers that's where CWSI went.
Right.
And
But if I'm correct, but
if
if I'm correct, I mean, the reason why this plant would work is they don't have to dig down into the ground to set up their operation. And if you dig down into the ground, you're going to be digging into pollutants because that's still a toxic area over there.
Right, and you don't have to dig down, but it's also in a flood zone. So FEMA regulates it. So you don't have to build down. You have to build up 5 feet. On top of the 5 feet that you have to build up, you have to put 2 feet of concrete.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming they're willing to do that.
Well, I don't know if they were informed. I actually found this information out.
Oh, this is new. Okay.
Yeah, this is new information to me too. I know that they said they were going to build up. I'm not sure how much. But that's with anybody that purchases the land, not just the Rosselli.
Right.
The Rosselli
Okay.
group. But when you look at that area, I mean, it's 20 feet away from the Mohawk River. I don't know if an asphalt plant is going to be okay 20 feet away from the Mohawk River. I've got recommendations from the county legislator, from the Oneida County Planning Department, and Transportation Department. And they're looking at, a study for the increase in traffic. Then you look down the road, and minus all of this, you've got to understand, too, on Frederick's Place, they have four houses on that road. So 1,500 feet away is four people, 4 people's homes. Yeah.
Well, there's a restaurant there, and on top of it, I do wonder, based on, listen, I don't know where you live, Samantha, specifically, but I know where I live, when the humidity's just right, the wind's blowing just right, and the farmer just timed it perfectly when he spread the liquid manure, that very intensified liquid manure, onto the field to make sure the crops grow properly, that smell drifts in, and it is awful. You live with it. It is what it is. We live in a farming community, but we're now adding something here. I think the people at Aquavina would be worried that the smell and the dust would make its way over there. But also, couldn't it happen to the area that we're trying to develop in the harbor?
Right. You've got Delmonico's. You've got Babes. Each of them have outside dining as well.
Yeah.
When you look at all the amount of money that we're spending for the Harbor Point development to make it a place where people are going to want to go, live, work, use for recreational use. And the possibility, we spent $50,000 back in 2011 for a waterfront development plan on the Leland Ave property to use for the Mohawk River and the Erie Canal.
Yeah.
It's almost mind-boggling. And before it was actually sold to the Crash Brothers. I don't know if you remember. However, the smell of the asphalt plant, I mean, you're going to have 32 trucks going in and out of that facility each day. You figure 4 trucks an hour from the hours of operation that they're going to be open. Is that going to be worth it? I mean, I just, and granted, just because you can't see something doesn't mean that there's not an odor to it.
Yeah.
Right.
32 trucks in and out of that facility, even if they go up Worth Ave, down North Genesee Street, back and forth a million times, is it going to be worth it? I don't know. And is that a risk that we want to take after all the amount of money?
Yeah. Can I interrupt you just for a second? Jim Zyko wants to know if you're supporting Claudia Tenney and Donald Trump.
Are you serious?
I know. Come on, really? In the middle, I told you to take it easy on me today. I had to feed my kids 10 minutes later than they normally do, just so I can keep them quiet.
Well, please apologize.
During the session. So
apologize to them.
With the asphalt plant.
All right. Listen. What about Samantha? That area over on. I mean, you have the former. What was the former the original mall? The Charlestown. What about Charlestown? What about that area over on Broad Street where those, some of those buildings seem like they're in really rough shape? It would be maybe an improvement over there.
Right. And when we asked the Roselli Group when they came in front of us if they had looked at any other properties inside the city, and they said that they were interested in this one. And you look at the gain through economic development, sales tax dollars. First of all, we don't receive any money from the sale of the property. It goes actually right back to the state because the state spent the money to clean up the land. So that's out. The second part to it is the sales tax dollars. No, either way you look at it, we only get I think it's maybe 1% of the sales tax dollars. So you're looking at $100,000 a year, which isn't bad. However, is it going to be worth the loss through possible economic development for the things along the Erie Canal, the harbor?
Right.
Are people actually going to want to invest in that area?
Well, I think
because of that.
I think when you look across the state, the place to really invest and where you can build on tourism and is the water. I mean, it's everywhere in the world, right? Water. People want to be near water. I just think that's so valuable. There seems to be
near water every day.
Great opportunities.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be on the Harbor Point Development Committee other than the fact that I represent that area because I think it's so important.
Right.
I mean, if you look at any other area throughout the state, what's their main focus now? Is their harbors? Is the water? I mean, you go to Delta Lake, Green Lakes. I mean, those are tourist attractions that bring in economic development and your sales tax dollars. Yeah. I mean, if we weren't spending the amount of money that we're going to be spending on the harbor, I could say, okay, maybe, let's go back, bring it back to the Matt Petroleum site. But, I mean, we're investing millions and millions of dollars into this site, and is it going to be worth it to have 32 trucks going in and out with a smell possibly and an odor to that area? I don't think so.
Okay, so what do you? So what is the plan? Are you going to fight this? And by the way, this was early on. This was called the new Stewart's issue over on Culver.
You want to know what the problem is? Is that they had a special meeting through the Urban Renewal Agency on Tuesday. If we get this information on Wednesday, I mean, you really can't digest this information as much as you can in a day, So, of course, I called for the public hearing because I wouldn't see any problem getting the public involved to find out what's going on. And then the phone calls started in, and at the end of the day, I try to represent the area as far as private development. However, I represent 11,000 people, as well.
Right.
And if I've got to go with their wishes, and everybody that I talk to at the end of the day in that area is not for it.
Okay. I was going to ask you. So the phone calls start coming in. Yeah. These are people calling you saying, "Do not allow this plant to pop up over there on the canal."
Right. Well, I talked to the people that live on Frederick's Place, and they're not that happy about it, and you can't blame them. They've got to worry about a new smell coming in. I mean, they've dealt with the low industrial facilities before.
So what is the process? So what happens?
The process was we had a public hearing yesterday for the actual sale of the property. It was in front of the zoning board. The zoning board tabled it, and now on September 7th we're going to have an economic development committee meeting, and we're going to get all our information together. I think I've got like a 22-page PowerPoint presentation right now that I'll be presenting on my behalf, and I'm sure all the private developers in that area, such as Rozier, I know that the Frederick's Place, I know the county legislator for the area is coming in, and we're just going to try to convince the rest of the council on what's right and what's not right, and let them make the determination.
Your recommendation is no, though, right? I mean, that's
correct.
Yeah.
So you're going to work to block this, okay? All right, and you feel you'll be successful?
I try.
Okay, all right.
I try. So
right.
you never know. Everyone goes and votes, and I try to
Jim
make them
Zecca
make
just
the best
said
decision on stuff.
when Donald Trump says something, he says it is going to happen and it's going
It
to be
is.
beautiful. So you need a better attitude, he says. So.
I try and make Utica great again.
Okay, all right, there you go. All right, there, Samantha. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
All right, great guys. Thanks so much. Take care.